There's a very interesting exercise in marketing and advertising at the moment. We're seeing a campaign which is being run by the large manufacturers of soft drink, who are arguing that we are about to be hit by a container tax which could push the price of drinks up by 10 or 20%. Somebody I know very well who follows these things very closely expressed some surprise to me this week when I explained it's actually not a tax that's being applied. It's the old container deposit scheme that many of us remember from when we were kids, that's been operating in South Australia for a long time, where there's a deposit placed on bottles, and then when those bottles are returned, that money is returned. So it's not a tax at all, but that's the way it is being marketed, as a tax. A lot of people talk very fondly about the old container deposit schemes, about how they as kids would be able to collect pocket money by collecting the bottles and returning those bottles, and the whole idea is you do this to try and get these things being recycled, and plainly there's an imperative for it, because a lot of governments are looking at this because these bottles and these containers are simply being chucked away. Now, the extra cost of all of this is being resisted by the manufacturers of these products, and so they've fashioned this campaign where they're talking about this and tying it in with the carbon tax. Now the carbon tax is gone, there's a new tax, a container tax, going to push up the cost of your drinks. Now, plainly, if there are a lot of people who aren't actually associating this with the old container deposit scheme, but are simply saying, oh, there's some new tax being put on, then we are talking here about a corruption of public debate and a corruption of information being provided to people. So just a bit of a warning if you're seeing that. That's what it's about. If you're opposed to the idea of a container deposit scheme, such as operates in other parts of Australia and which has operated for many parts of the world successfully, and which operated in the past, and a lot of people talk fondly about it having happened when they're kids. Well, if you oppose it and you think it's a bad idea and it's not necessary and it's nanny state stuff, well, we'll do it on that basis. But the idea of structuring a campaign where you're deceiving people into thinking some tax is being applied and it needs to be stopped, well, I think that's dishonest, and that's why the campaign, I think, deserves to fail.